Good afternoon and welcome to NTV News. I am Siksha Sharma. Let's take a look into the headlines first. Ruling alliance to hold another round of discussion on cabinet expansion, focus on giving full shape to the government. World Bank says it needs some $411 billion to rebuild war-torn Ukraine, says the figure will rise as the war continues. U.S. Federal Reserve raises key interest rate amid banking sector fears, warns bank failures may hurt economic growth in days ahead. And Emma Raducanu and Andy Murray crashes out. Welcome back to NTV News. Taking a look into news in detail now. Top leaders of the ruling alliance are sitting again for talks that will focus primarily on cabinet expansion. After the meeting on Wednesday did not make any headway on induction of ministers from the new 10-party alliance in the Pushpa Kamal Dahal-led government, they are sitting again for discussion. Wednesday's meeting mainly held preliminary discussion on giving the government a complete shape. That is scheduled for 23rd of April. The meeting will also make a decision whether the party will join the incumbent government or not. Executive Committee member Keshav Jha said discussion will primarily be held on selection of candidates to contest by-election in 3 electoral constituencies. The date for candidacy registration for by-election is on 3rd of April. And let's take a look into a short break. More news follows up next. Stay with us. More news from the home front. As many as 96% of total population in Karnali province is deprived of access to safe and pure drinking water. As per the preliminary result of the National Census 2078 Bikram Sambat, just 4% of some 1.6 million population in the province has an access to pure drinking water. Senior Divisional Engineer at Ministry of Physical Infrastructure, Energy and Water Resources, Gopal Sharma said that 86% people in the province are provided with basic supplies of drinking water, while 6% of the people are still has no access to basic drinking water supply. Most of the citizens from the province are forced to drink impure water from open ponds, rivers, rivulets and streams. Likewise, water testing labs have been established in all 10 districts in Karnali, while new projects of water supplies are being implemented from the local and provincial levels. With the impacts of both local and westerly winds, the high hilly regions in the country today are expected to witness a partial rain. The Weather Forecast Division of the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology said that there will be partly to generally cloudy in the hilly and mountainous areas of Koshi Province, Bagmati Province, and the thunder showers is likely to happen at some places of Tarai and mountainous region of Kosi Province today. The division said that the same pattern of weather system will continue tonight as well. Currently, the weather of Kathmandu Valley is clear from early morning, while the minimum temperature of the valley is recorded 11 degrees Celsius and the maximum temperature is 24 degrees as of now. The land acquisition process for the Dudh-Koshi Reservoir hydropower project is still in limbo due to long-standing dispute related to compensation. The compensation to the affected families of the National Pride project is still pending since 1.5 years of withholding land, and compensation is yet to be determined. Land acquisition work of 365 megawatt hydropower project has been stalled in affected areas of Khotang, Okholdunga and Solukhumbu owing to the fair compensation. The total land covered by the project are 5,860 plots in Khotang and 1,971 private land in Okholdunga, and that has been retained. As per the information, evaluation and fair compensation has been delayed by the Compensation Determination Committee and its subcommittee formed in both districts for the land acquisition for the project. And let's take a look into a short break. More news follows up next. Stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. Taking a look into international developments, where a World Bank report has estimated it will cost Ukraine $411 billion over the next 10 years to recover and rebuild from Russia's war on the country, with the bill for cleaning up the rubble from devastated towns and cities standing at $5 billion alone. The report released on Wednesday said that estimates should be considered as minimum, as needs will continue to rise as long as the war continues. Produced jointly by Ukraine's government, the World Bank, the European Commission and the United Nations, the $411 billion assessment marked an increase from the $349 billion estimated in a report released by the bank in September. The report details some of the economic and human toll of Russia's war, including nearly 2 million homes damaged, more than 1 in 5 public health institutions damaged, 650 ambulances damaged or stolen, and at least 9,655 civilians confirmed dead, including 461 children. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has announced the proposed question the Australians will be asked at this year's referendum and the draft constitutional amendment that would enable an Indigenous voice to the Parliament. If approved, the vote later this year would establish an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice, a formal body for Indigenous people to give advice on laws. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese argues it would be a very simple but momentous change. Constitutional referendums are fairly rare. Only 8 of 44 have succeeded. The voice is being fiercely debated with support and opposition across the political spectrum. Towards the U.S., where the central bank has raised interest rates again despite fears the move could add to financial turmoil after a string of bank failures. The Federal Reserve increased its key rate by 0.25 percentage points, calling the banking system sound and resilient. But it also warned that fallout from bank failures may hurt economic growth in the months ahead. The Fed has been raising borrowing costs in a bid to stabilize prices, but the sharp increase in interest rates since last year has led to strains in the banking system. 2 U.S. banks, Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, collapsed this month, buckling in part due to problems caused by higher interest rates. A quick look into the highlights of what's coming up next. Towards other developments now, where Canada's population grew by over 1 million people for the first time ever in 2022, the government said on Wednesday. The country's population increased from 38,000 on 1st of January 2022 on 2023, Statistics Canada said. It also marked Canada's highest annual population growth rate, 2.7% since 1957. Migration accounted for nearly 96% of the population growth, the agency said. The increase was in part fueled by government efforts to recruit migrants to the country to ease labour shortages, Statistics Canada said. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has made efforts to attract more immigrants to the country to fill up the gap in its economy due to aging baby boomers. Last year, the government announced a plan to welcome 500,000 immigrants a year by 2025. Time for sports update. Emma Raducanu was knocked out of the Miami Open by Canada's Bianca Andreescu after an absorbing first-round match where both players showed glimpses of the huge potential. The British number 120 lost 6-3, 3-6, 6-2 against 22-year-old Andreescu, who also won the U.S. Open as a teenager. Both players have been beset by injury but produced a hard-fought match where a single break won the first 2 sets. The decider was initially tied before Andreescu won the last 4 games. Meanwhile, two-time champion Andy Murray suffered a straight-set loss to Dusan Lajovic in the first round at the Miami Open. Former world number 1 Murray, winner in both 2009 and 2013, was beaten 6-4, 7-5 by the 76th ranked Serb. It comes a day after the fatigued 35-year-old Scot lost to Jack Draper in the 3rd round at the Indian Wells. Towards other development, where the battle to buy Manchester United heated up on Wednesday as Qatari banker Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani returned with a second bid for the English giants. British billionaire Jim Ratcliffe is also expected to make a second offer for the 20-time English champions. Rain, the merchant bank brought in to assist the sale of the club, had set a deadline of 9 p.m. on Wednesday for interested parties to declare their offer, but Sky Sports reported that the deadline has been pushed back to allow proposals to be fine-tuned. United's owner, the Glazer family, have reportedly set a world record $7.3 billion valuation for a sports club. Sheikh Jassim's bid for 100% control of the club promises to wipe United's $620 million debt and invest in a new stadium and training ground, in addition to backing for the men's and women's team. And this brings us to the end of the bulletin. To wrap up, a quick reminder of the top stories. Ruling alliance to hold another round of discussion on cabinet expansion, focus on giving full shape to the government. World Bank says it needs some $411 billion to rebuild what on Ukraine, says the figure will rise as war continues. U.S. Federal Reserve raises key interest rate amid banking sector fears, warns bank failures may hurt economic growth in days ahead. And Emma Raducanu and Andy Murray crashes out of the Miami Open first round. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead. Namaste.